Alright, today's going to be a quicker video. I'm not going to waste you guys' time. We're just going to jump straight into the Bitcoin price action and talk about what we need to be watching out for here on the charts. So yeah, first things first, Bitcoin's at a higher price than yesterday, so that's always good to see. You can see we backtested value area high of this visible range here, and we have now gone ahead and swept the level I've been talking about for quite some time. These poor highs from back here that I knew were going to get swept. That's why I wasn't bearish at the lows. I knew these were bad and that liquidity needed to get taken out. The liquidity has somewhat been taken out, right? We did sweep through this swing failure pattern. This is a bearish structure. Not only did we have a structural edge for a short, but we did have a technical edge with this 1 hour bearish divergence along with a 4 hour bearish divergence. So could we get a pullback here? Definitely could. Where would I be looking for support if we were to pull back? Well, that would be like this yellow box here, just point of control of this visible range. You could probably pull that down to there, fill back into these imbalances. That would also probably be around the daily EMA. Yeah, pretty close to the daily EMA. So I wouldn't be too worried if we do come down there. This high is actually not bearish, and that's because of what order flow is showing me. It has created another bad high that needs to get swept. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we jump over here to Trading Light, this is the footprint chart where you can see the actual, buyers and sellers within a candle. And we zoom into the top of that high where there was that swing failure pattern. We can see this is not a finished auction. It's not a failed auction. Price was accepting this level with a clean auction, which means it is likely for price to return to this level to finish the auction, right? Price always needs to finish or fail an auction, which basically means there's no buyers or sellers at specific levels finish off that range before it, rolls over or continues on upwards. And since we did not get that here, I cannot be bearish. This would not have been a valid short for me just because you didn't have that failed auction. Now, it was structurally sound, so you definitely could have, shorted this, right? Because if you saw it swung under the sweep level, there's big sellers here. There are a lot of, walls that are trying to absorb price and that sort of thing. You could go ahead and take the gamble that, hey, maybe we will reject this. It is right at the golden pocket, and your risk to reward is good enough to where you could take that 10 times in a row. And as long as you get a couple right, you'll become profitable, because that's just how good the risk to reward is on something like this, right? Because you're only risking 1/4% there, and your take profit would likely be this previous range would be like TP1 point of control, and then you could have a secondary take profit that would be more of what we talked about, like the further down point of control that I was first mentioning, where we could have this pullback to, also where single prints are, that imbalance range in here. So yeah, you have like a 25 risk to reward on this position. So yeah, structurally it was a good gamble to take, I guess, even though you didn't have a failed auction. But what I'm waiting for is this level up here, and I will seriously consider going big on a short just based on what the dollar might be doing, which we'll get into later in this video. But yeah, if we do, sweep up here, this could be a potential short for me, same sort of swing failure pattern. And that's something I'll be keeping you guys updated on in the Discord. So make sure to go join that Discord. Links in the description down below to get that more timely TA from me. But overall, back here on TradingView, when we zoom out to a daily time frame, the momentum indicators are extremely bullish, and I would not be surprised if we just rip straight through all of this stuff and continue to squeeze shorts without pulling back to the daily EMA. So yeah, definitely do not just short the sweep level because I said I might be doing it. I need it to be structurally sound with a failed auction or finished auction, and there needs to be a structural edge to where I'm only going to lose a little bit of money when I take that position if I'm wrong. So yeah, don't blind trade any of the stuff that I'm talking about, and don't trade in general unless you know what you're doing. Jumping over here to the levels chart now, you can see that we did in fact find resistance on these levels I was talking about in my last video, which would have been previous naked day points of control right here, value area highs. And you can see we still have one untested value area high volume level from a previous day up at this next sweep level. So yeah, that's what I'll use as confluence, right? If we can swing fail it and then hold resistance on this with bearish order flow, then I might take that. We'll just have to see. Again, the momentum indicators show me that it's going to be a dangerous trade to take, because we could easily rip through this low volume area, right? Because as soon as we accept into this fair value gap, and it's not just a quick swing fail, we actually start kind of closing up in here. You're just going to instantly rip to the upside. Like low volume area, more likely to just magnet through to 74K. And then that's of course the more bearish level. That's where I actually get kind of worried, is if we start deviating 74K. But that's for a future video. Price isn't quite there yet. What I want to talk about right now is the dollar. You can see we have reclaimed value area high of this range, this big range that the dollar's been in since 2023. So reclaiming this is bullish. You can see it's a clean back test of it, right? Deviate to the downside, back above, back testing as support. So yeah, if the dollar is to confirm that as a value area high back test and we do go on to break these highs or something like that, we just continue to rally up, that could signal that Bitcoin is pretty much topped right now. So we got to be careful on what the dollar does. But these range highs are never exact. If we look at where this wicked down to previously, you could call that your range high, and then we are back testing it as resistance potentially. So yeah, we'll just have to watch and see what the dollar does here in the next coming weeks. It's definitely something to keep your eye on. Another thing to keep your eye on that I posted in the Discord is the S&P here should not break below all-time high. Back testing all-time high is completely fine, right? That's no problem whatsoever. Even if we were to come up here, make like a bear div and then come back down and test it, that's no problem. It's definitely going to be a little sketchy though coming down there, because if we do start closing down here for longer periods of time, kind of making like a head and shoulders type deal, deviating this all-time high, if we were to lose this trend here, that's something that could be bad for us. We definitely want to make sure that the S&P can hold all-time highs and this does not become a deviation. This is something I've been talking about, right? We need the S&P to confirm price discovery, not just deviate into it, because this would turn into a good high. Like the way this high formed here was not bad, whereas these highs were bad, so I knew they were going to get swept. If we just start heading down here right now, I'm not confident that this would need to get swept, and this could become the actual top for the S&P, so we want to be careful. But that being said, on the daily here, the chart still looks extremely bullish. It does look structurally like it wants to just finish off this parabola and go pretty much vertical before the final top does actually come in and we roll over closer to that Fed cut, the election season, what I've been planning this whole time. So that is still 100% my base case. But in this video, I just wanted to give you guys some stuff to watch out for, because we are getting into areas where price does not need to go into price discovery to clean out liquidity. And real quickly, to wrap up the video, Total 3 back tested the daily EMA. Altcoin season is starting right now. So no matter what Bitcoin does, even if it distributes here, the target remains the same on altcoins. We're going up 50%, which means your lower cap alts are going to go absolutely parabolic during this next couple of months. But of course, just my opinion. None of this is financial advice. With that being said, make sure to join that Discord I've been talking about. Link is in the description down below. And thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.